After today's lesson video, you're going to learn how to play the E major scale on 3 different strings using 3 different subdivisions. So the first step in learning this is learning the E major scale on 3 different strings. Now you can do it across the 6 different strings, but for today's lesson video, we're just going to do the 3 because, you know, when we're attuned in open E, so we have 3 E's, 2 B's, and a G sharp, okay? So we are just basically tuned to an E major triad, but with multiple repeats on the strings. So the first step is to learn the E major scale on the 3 different strings. So in this case, strings 1, 2, and 3. So let's start on the first string. So we're gonna follow, since you know the first string starts with the root note, the pattern whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So we have the root, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And then you can continue all the way up. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, and then you run out of frets. So for today's lesson video, we're actually just going to stick to the 12th fret because you just start repeating notes, but I do encourage you to practice the entire fretboard with this exercise, just to map out the entire fretboard. All right. Now, before we move on to the next string, I want to talk about intervals, okay? So you can, you know, call these notes by their letters, which would be E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. However, I want you to get in the habit of thinking intervallically, meaning that we're going to label each of these notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 again. The reason why we want to do that is if you're changing keys, you know, especially if you're changing keys on the same tune, it's much easier to think intervallically than is just the letters, because when you change keys, the letters are going to change, but the intervals will not, okay? So that's just going to make your life a lot easier and just a better musician, you know, in the long run, okay? So let's do the same thing on the second string. So the second string begins on the 5th, which is B. So we have, you know, in terms of steps, whole, half, whole, half, whole. All right? So same pattern, but we're just starting on the 5th degree, okay? So then the next string is going to be G sharp, and that's the 3rd of E major, and it's going to follow this pattern. Half, whole, half, whole. And again, you can go past the 12th fret, which I really encourage, but for today's lesson video, we're just going to, you know, keep it simple and just do 1 octave on each string, because then it just repeats after the 12th fret anyways. All right, so now that you learned that, we're going to start applying these rhythmic patterns to it, okay? So the first rhythmic pattern we're going to follow is 8th notes. So if this is the tempo, we'd be thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So playing the scale on all the strings, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then backwards 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the second string 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm gonna stop counting because you get the point anyway, so except to count 7 1 2 3 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. So that's 8th notes across the strings. Now we're going to learn a pattern called playing the scale in thirds. So that's when you play a note in the scale, you skip the next note. So in this case, going from 1 to 3, you go back a scale tone to the 2, skip the next scale tone. So skip 3, go to the 4, go back a scale tone to the 3, skip the 4th, go to the 5th, and so on and so forth. So it's going to sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. backwards. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so when we're descending, we don't have a D sharp to go to the root again, so the pattern breaks a little bit, but you're just going to play the notes that you have available. That's the goal of the exercise, mapping it out as best as you can. Now the second string, same pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, now the third string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that is playing the scale in thirds and eighth notes, okay? Now, the next pattern we're going to tackle is triplets. So try each of the strings in triplets. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Then the third string, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. All right. So the pattern we're going to do with this is what I like to think of as the staircase pattern. And we're going to play 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, go back a note, and then to the second and play the next 3 notes. Go back a note, play the next 3 notes, so on and so forth. So on the first string, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. All right. So before we move on to the next string, we're going to introduce what's called displacement. So we're going to be starting this pattern, but instead of starting on the downbeat of each triplet, we're going to start it on the second triplet. So, you know, instead of going like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Forgot the camera flips things. So we're going to start on the second triplet. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So we're starting in the middle of that triplet pattern, because it's a really good habit not to start all your phrases on the downbeat, because, you know, the downbeat is where the drums and the bass live, and us as soloists, we kind of want to like emulate what singers do, where they don't always start on the downbeats. It allows you to float over the rhythm section. So let's try that. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay. Now the next displacement is going to be on the third triplet. So starting on the third note of the triplet. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. Now doing the same thing on the second string. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the second, now displacing on the second triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now the third triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now the third string. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Second part of the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. One, two, three, one. Third part of the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right. The next subdivision we're going to introduce is 16th notes. So counting 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So let's do that across each string. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. All right, now let's displace that. So starting on the E, the second part of the 16th note. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Okay, now the and, or actually let's do descending first. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Now the and. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E. Descending. 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 1. Okay, now the and. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E. Descending. 1 E and a, 1 E. Now the 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and. One E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and. Okay, now before I move on to the next string, I just want to address how some people practice in all 12 keys. Now, that really makes sense if you're a piano player where all the notes are laid out sequentially. It's very easy to visualize and see where they are. Or if you're a horn player, you know, you have like one fingering per note. I know like sometimes it's double, but you know, it's really mostly just one fingering per note. So that's great with that type of instrument. But for guitar, it doesn't confront the fact that we can play an E here, an E here, an E here, an E here, 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 you know, so on and so forth. So I find it's more effective to learn these type of patterns in one key, but learn it across multiple strings, because, you know, it's helpful to think of the guitar as each one of the strings being its own individual piano. So we have 6 pianos right here. So when we learn notes linearly, we cover the entire fretboard and we learn where each one of these notes are. And that allows you to take advantage of the fact as well that this E sounds totally different from this E, or this E, or this E. You know, as you start playing it on lower strings, it gets thicker sounding. So tonally, that's a great thing to take advantage of, you know. Or so on and so forth. So it sounds completely different tonal wise. All right. So now let's continue with the second string. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and yeah, that pattern. 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and now on the E, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. One E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Now on the and, 1 E and 2 E. And 1 E and 2 E. On the 1 E and 2 E and. One E and 2 E and. Now on the third string, so on the downbeat, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and on the E, 1 E and 2. One E and 2. On the and, 1 E and 2 E. One E and 2 E. Now on the 1 E and a 2 E and. One E and a 2 E and. Okay. So anyways, guys, that's the pattern. So just to review real quick, we're learning the E major scale on 3 different strings on your first, second, and third string, and then there's repeats on the other strings. We're learning 3 different subdivisions, okay? And with the 8th note pattern, there's only 1. And then with the triplet, we have 3 patterns, including the displacement. So there's 3 there. And then with the 16th note pattern, there's 4 patterns within that, okay? Now, what I really recommend is that you don't practice all the subdivisions in one session. That's a lot of information. Even just going through this video, that took about 20 minutes, and that, I've been playing these patterns a long time, so that doesn't count, the trial and error you might encounter when you're playing this, and, if you mess up at any point. So what I recommend is that you just stick with one subdivision and do it across 3 strings. It's more important to be able to play one subdivision across all the strings than it is to play all the subdivisions on just one string. Because the idea with this is that we're learning the fretboard and learning, all the possibilities across the whole neck, okay? So that really is going to help you as a guitar player. It's going to help you become a better, well-rounded musician. And yeah, just have fun with these patterns, incorporate in your soloing. If you listen to someone like Derek, he incorporates this type of stuff all the time, okay? So if you're interested in more content like this, check out my Patreon tab or page. So I'm going to have all these patterns fully tabbed out and notated, including all the displacements and everything. So would really appreciate if you gave me a subscribe on my Patreon. I promise it's well worth your money. And, it just helps fuel this channel and me as a musician. All right. So if you're interested in doing that, I would really greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to like this video, comment on it. I really enjoy the engagement. I get a lot of good ideas for future videos when people engage and leave comments. And, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But anyways, take care. I'll see you soon.